What's up, guys? It's your favorite furry biker out there, Boner Garage or Bonesaw, whatever you want to call me in the comments section or in real life. I really don't care what you call me, but I wanted to go over the recent wreck I had on my bike, or crash at least. I learned what it felt like to hit a wall at 80 miles per hour, and not very many people actually get to learn that, and, well, it hurt. That's the light way of saying it. Trying to keep my my monetization up still. But so in hindsight, I uploaded the video to Reddit and YouTube and got a really good amount of input from the community, from a lot of people who wanted to just actually give me pointers to helping in the future. And what I learned from that was a lot of practice is still needed, and well, that's not gonna change for a while. I have to do a lot of practice, so. But that comes with being a biker. You just start out green, you get more and more experience, then you get to a track day, and you learn a lot. And some of the guys have told me you should probably try track day. It might help you a lot. So I have intent to do that in the near future. I don't know when, but eventually. But so let's watch the video real fast, and I'm gonna talk about it after the video or clip plays through. It's about 30 seconds, so just stay here. Now I want to break down this video by what I did wrong and what I did right, so there's gonna be some clipping, pausing, starting, and all that in this segment of the video, but I want to explain to you for any other new riders out there like myself, so you can maybe learn from my mistakes, and maybe I can understand better by explaining it in this video too. Now, here's where I'm starting to go onto the on-ramp, and I'm slowing down a little bit to get into the curve, and have a very light lean angle already, but it merges onto another ramp that has a tighter turn. As you can see, I'm going about 60, coming on, merging onto the second part of the ramp, and I'm peaking at about 88 miles per hour. Now, this is where I rode out of my league, and that's one of the things that I'm going to say is that's where all of this started. I was not comfortable with the lean angle of the bike being very much, and that's what I was criticized heavily on the Reddit thread for, but a lot of people said you just need to lean more. You could even scrape your pegs on the ground if you really need to. And that's my main fear, because I saw a little bit of gravel on the road prior to that, and it spooked me, making me think I'm going to throw my back tire out if I lean much more than that. And in actuality, there's plenty of clips out there, people who hit a little patch of gravel on the highway, and what ends up happening is they start to lose it, but their rear tire regains traction, or front tire, and they keep going. You don't have to be as scared of gravel as I am, and I'm getting better at it now that this has happened, because I've definitely been trying to get over that problem. It's definitely an issue that I have to address, and then I can start more aggressively leaning and counter steering more actively, and definitely a thing that I need to work on personally, and I'd recommend work on counter steering and lean angle as much as you can as a new rider. Now, another major flaw is my hand placement. If you notice, my right hand is very far out. Now, it was very comfortable for me starting up because I felt like I had more control over the throttle, but someone referred to me on Reddit as jerking off my throttle, and it pretty much is like that, because you gotta fuck your bike sometimes before you crash it, just to make sure it feels better about it at the end. Anyway, so that's another problem that I had working against me, is just the sheer fact my hand was so far out. Now, inadvertently, that also didn't give me proper steering control, and so when I started to bail on the turn due to not enough lean angle, and I had SRs kick in, well, I tried to fight the bike to the right. Well, I didn't counter steer. I tried to fight it, and that did not work out well, as you can guess by the title of this video. Now, after I hit the wall, I bounced off and then maintained control of the bike, somehow not laying it down through all the debris and stuff on the side of the road. Now, what people on Reddit referred to one of the good points of my crash actually was the sheer fact that I didn't lay the bike down due to me staying on the throttle. If I had slammed on my brakes and skidded and all that, I might have hit the wall again, and bike would have fallen into the road, potentially putting me into oncoming traffic or passing traffic, because there was no oncoming traffic because it's an on-ramp. But you get the point. Now, what did I do good other than that? Well, not much, obviously, but I kept my mind straight after I hit the wall. My mind reset out of the SRs and somehow put the motorcycle SRs that keep you alive from falling off shit on your motorcycle. But what I didn't do right is, one, I'm not wearing proper riding pants. I'm wearing jeans with a thin underlayer that was designed for a little bit of comfort in the cold. Now, was that adequate? Absolutely not. The split second my knee contacted the wall, it hit it in 2 spots and went right through the jeans and through the underlayer, and actually fused part of the underlayer and jeans to one of the not gashes, but scrapes on my leg. I was extremely lucky. That's really all I had, minus a banged up ankle, because when I hit the wall, my ankle hit the wall and then hit the bike again, and I don't know what happened to it, but there's a lot of black rubber on it, so either I might have hit the back wheel or something with it, I don't know. But I just held on for the bumpy ride until I was able to regain adequate control away from the wall and get to a stop at a point on the shoulder. Another thing I was criticized for is stopping on the highway. I was more than capable probably of getting to the exit that was about half a mile off that ramp after you got onto the main highway from there, and probably should have done that and checked myself over, but my instinct was stop for some reason, and on that on-ramp I had a 3-foot shoulder, and cars are going very close as I'm like wondering how I didn't kill myself in that incident. So what went wrong in order to cause that crash? One, the main thing about it was I rode above my skill level. My inner street Rossi kicked in, and I definitely rode faster into that curve than I should have, still being spooked by gravel at the time, and mildly now. I'm just a little more wary of it and aware of it. I'm just not as, I'm not ballsy around it, but I'm not scared of it anymore, kind of, to an extent. But I rode above my league, and I got punished accordingly. And that's one of the things. My hand placement also was not the greatest, as you can see in the videos now playing in the background. My hand placement is significantly better. I've been working on training myself to get out of the habit of holding the bar end. It was a safety for me to have a solid non-rotating point for the throttle, because the throttle felt really slick and loose, but it should be that way. Now, what else led to it? Well, a failure to lean and countersteer. When my lean angle wasn't far enough, I should have increased it and should have been able to make that turn, but I was also going well above the speed limit, and cars in that ramp were probably going between 60 and 70. I was going 88 at my peak speed limit. So I had to make an executive decision to maybe not hit the car in front of me or side of me. That I should have been able to make it out fine with proper experience and not cockiness, but unfortunately I completely screwed up and went far above my skill level, and luckily nobody else was involved in the incident. The main things I have to work on now: hand placement, my posture while riding, because I was sitting a little bit further back on a 650 Ninja that's a little more close to the front bike. I thought it was like you're meant to have your butt against the rear fairing, kind of, but in actuality, a bunch of people explained to me on the Reddit thread that you are actually meant to sit a little more further back on it, or further up on it, not further back. That I felt that way because it didn't seem like my knees had adequate contact to the tank unless I was sitting a little bit more forward. Now, gear-wise, what would have prevented my injuries to my person? Well, if I had adequate real riding pants on, or maybe even riding jeans, I'd say in that situation are probably one and done. You guys get a new pair after that, but riding pants, you might be able to get away with a scrape to a wall. And just frayed fibers, maybe. I don't know. Maybe if someone more experienced than I am in this subject would comment below with, is that possible, just a light scraping or bang against the wall like that? Because obviously denim doesn't hold up at all. But another thing I would have to get is, instead of the leather boot or leather shoes I had on that were a little bit above the ankle, so it prevented my ankle from sustaining any real injury, but definitely did not provide adequate protection and armor to it in that situation, quite obviously by my ankle swelling up very shortly afterwards, and my left leg actually being my worst leg out of the two, even though I have a fake right knee. Don't ask. Maybe a story for later. Comment down below if you want to hear about that. But, so, proper riding gear is something that I would recommend. I thought, well, hell, riding jacket, gloves, and helmet, main things you really need. I have combat boots I can wear if I want to, and those things do add adequate armor to the ankles. They're high top, and they have a very durable tread. Now, I would probably invest in a pair of boots and jackets, or pants, but regardless, I wasn't wearing the proper gear, so I actually had the pleasure of running my knee along a wall and smearing myself along a median. Definitely would not recommend crashing, but I'm pretty sure most, if not all, motorcyclists have crashed in one way, shape, or form, their fault or not. I do feel like it's kind of a, not a bragging right, but kind of a becoming more of a motorcyclist because you've now experienced what it's like to crash, because even in a car I haven't crashed anything. This is actually my first vehicle accident, and in any way, shape, or form, thankfully. Being 21, not getting in any accidents is great for insurance. If you can do that, and you're 16, no tickets, no crashes, you're gonna have better insurance than your friend who speeds and crashes into shit, like Jaxler, the one in the video prior to this that I ended up arresting and not almost being able to cut the zip time. But regardless of this all, it was definitely a very interesting experience and a mind-opening one to my current skill level as a rider. Definitely something that I would not recommend to anyone, like I've said, but it's probably going to happen to almost most bikers, one way, shape, or form. Now, my recommendations for future riders or new riders like myself, even if you've taken the MSF course, still practice. There's a lot more you can learn. MC Rider, he's a YouTuber who's a MSF course instructor, and he uploads every Friday with videos on how to improve your riding. Definitely something I'd recommend checking out in the future if you're wanting to learn more. Other things I would recommend doing is just becoming as good at steering and controlling your bike and getting it to where you want it to be when you want it. Because for me, I wanted my bike to go straight, or in the turn, and instead it pretty much went straight on that, and I was shut down accordingly. But otherwise, guys, I hope you all will ride safe, and if you're a year-round riding idiot like me, just watch out for ice and people on the roads, because definitely cars aren't going to be watching for motorcycles in the Midwest in the winter. That's like the last thing they'll do. Otherwise, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and found it informational and hopefully learned from my experience more than I do. And maybe I'll learn some more from it. And I've listened to a lot of people already, and I have a lot of things to go off of now. I'll link the Reddit thread in the description. So if you want to see the tips that people have given me on how to improve myself, and you can read over those and see what you can get out of that too. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, found it informational, and hope you guys ride safe. Peace out.